Hey Mama, Daddy's gonna read you the Snow White book. It's your favorite, right? Okay. You see it right here. Snow White with all the dwarves. Okay, let's see. Long ago in a kingdom far away, there lived a young little princess named Snow White. Her stepmother, the queen, was cruel and vain. She hated anyone whose beauty rivaled her own. She watched over her stepdaughter with angry, jealous eyes. There's the evil queen. The queen had magic powers and owned a wondrous mirror that spoke. Every day she stood before it and asked, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of all?" And every day the mirror answered, "You are the fairest one of all, O queen, the fairest our eyes have ever seen." As time passed, Snow White grew more and more beautiful, and the queen grew more and more envious, so she forced the princess to dress in rags and work from dusk till dawn. You see Snow White? There she is. And there's the mirror. You see the mirror? Ooh. Despite all the hard work, Snow White stayed sweet, gentle, and cheerful. Day after day, she washed and swept the scrubbed. And day after day, she dreamed of a handsome prince who would come and carry her off to his castle. There's the prince. You see him? One day, the queen spoke to her mirror and replied with the news that she had been dreading. There was now someone even more beautiful than the queen. That person was Snow White. The queen sent for her huntsman. "Take Snow White deep into the forest," she said, "and there, my faithful huntsman, you put her to sleep." The man begged the queen to have mercy, but she said she would not be persuaded. "Silence," she warned. "You know the penalty if you fail." The next day, Snow White, never suspecting that she was in danger, went off with the huntsman. Where they were deep in the woods, the huntsman drew his and she fell asleep to his knees, and he fell to his knees. "I can't do it," he sobbed. "Forgive me." He told her it was the queen who ordered to go to sleep. "The queen," gasped Snow White. "She's jealous of you and the huntsman. She'll stop at nothing. Quick, run away and don't come back." "I'll lie to the queen. Now go, run, hide." Frightened, Snow White fled through the woods. Branches tore at her clothes. Sharp twigs scratched her arms and legs. Strange eyes stared from the shadows. Danger lurked everywhere. Snow White ran on and on. At last, Snow White fell wearily to the ground and began to weep. The gentle animals of the forest gathered around and tried to comfort her. Chirping and chattering, they led her to a tiny cottage. "Oh," said Snow White, "it's adorable, just like a dollhouse." You see the little animals, Mama? It's cute, huh? But inside, the little tables and chairs were covered with dust, and the sink was filled with dirty dishes. "My," said Snow White, "perhaps the children who lived here are orphans and need someone to take care of them. Maybe they'll let me stay and keep house for them." The animals all helped, and soon the place was neat and tidy. Meanwhile, the 7 dwarfs who lived in the cottage were heading home from the mine where they worked. The dwarfs were amazed to find the house was so clean. They were even more amazed when they went up and saw Snow White. "It's a girl," said Doc. "She's beautiful," said Bashful. "Ah," said Grumpy. "She's going to be trouble. Mark my words." See, they see Snow White and she's sleeping. Snow White woke with a start and saw the dwarfs gathered around her. "Why, you're not children," she said. "You're little men. I read your names on the beds." She continued, "Let me guess who you are. You're Doc, and you're Bashful, you're Sleepy, you're Sneezy, and Happy, and Dopey, and you must be Grumpy." When Snow White told the dwarfs about the queen's evil plan to put her to sleep, they decided she would stay with them. "We're asking for trouble," said Grumpy. "We can't let her get caught with that wicked queen," the Doc said, and others agreed. That night after summer, they all sang and danced and made merry music. Bashful played the concertina, Happy tapped the drums, Sleepy tooted his horn, Grumpy played the organ, and Dopey wiggled his ears. Snow White loved her new friends, and she felt safe at last. Meanwhile, the queen had learned from the mirror that Snow White was still awake. With a magic spell, she turned herself into an old peddler woman. She filled a basket with apples, putting a poison apple on top. One bite, she crackled, and Snow White will be asleep forever. Then I'll be the fairest in the land. The next morning, before they left the mine, the dwarfs warned Snow White to be on her guard. Don't let nobody or nothing in the house, said Grumpy. Oh, Grumpy, said Snow White, you do care. I'll be careful, I promise. She kissed him and others goodbye, and the doors went cheerfully off. Aw, she gave them kisses. That cute. A few minutes later, the queen came to the kitchen, making pies, dear. She asked, it's apple pies men love. Here, taste one of these. She held the poisoned apple to Snow White. Soon Snow White remembered the dwarf's warning, but the woman looked harmless, and the apple looked delicious. Snow White bit the apple, and with a sigh she fell to the floor. Told by the birds and the animals something was wrong, the dwarfs raced back to the cottage. They saw the queen sneaking off, and they ran after her. The storm clouds gathered, and rain began to fall. The dwarfs chased the queen to the top of the high rocky mountain. Crack! There was a flash of lightning, and the evil queen fell to her doom below. But it was too late for Snow White. She was so beautiful, even while she was sleeping, the dwarfs could not bear to part with her. They built her a coffin of glass and gold. The day and night they kept watch over their beloved princess. One day, a handsome prince came riding through the forest. As soon as he saw Snow White, he fell in love with her. Kneeling by her coffin, he gave her a kissy. Snow White sat up, blinked, and smiled. The prince's kiss had broken the evil spell. As the dwarfs danced with joy, the prince carried Snow White off to his castle, where they lived happily ever after. Aww. You see the Snow White and the prince and the dwarves, they're all happy. Alright, Mama, that was the story. Okay, Mama, you have a good night. And Daddy loves you. And you say your prayers. Mwah.